Hey everyone, it's Carissa, and I am so excited to be here as a part of the Ellen Hudson Essentials by Ellen Winter 2015 release blog hop. And I have a special project that I've prepared for you today featuring some of these gorgeous new products that were designed by Julie Ebersole. She is so talented. I adore her. And so you'll see me using first this Bold Bloom stamp set. These flowers are gorgeous, and I'll be using the coordinating dies later on. But I wanted to emboss these in some gold embossing powder on this Essentials by Ellen 43-pound vellum. This vellum is amazing. So you saw me prep my cardstock there, and now I am inking these up in some Versamark ink. That powder tool that I used at the beginning is going to keep any extra embossing powder from sticking to areas that I don't want it to. And I'm going to stamp a bunch of these flowers all over these kind of 2 scraps of vellum that I have here. I'm not going to use them all, but I'll have some for future projects as well. Once I got them all stamped in the Versamark ink, I went ahead and coated them with some Ranger Superfine Detail embossing powder in gold, and then I'm going to heat set them with my heat tool. Now, the key to embossing on vellum is to let your heat tool heat up to its maximum heat before you take it to the vellum. And then I'm starting on the back side embossing here, and you want to keep that heat tool moving so that you don't warp or scorch your vellum. And you can see how beautiful those turned out. And so now I have the matching Bold Blooms die set here, and there are some leaves and all these flowers that I can cut out, but I'm going to cut out all the flowers that I've embossed so far. And in order to keep those from shifting around while I put them through my die cut machine, I'm just going to use a little post-it tape. So you have those all over to the side there. You can see how beautiful they are. And now I'm going to mix in some pattern papers. So I'm bringing in this Pebbles Jen Hadfield homemade 6x6 pattern paper pad. And I've just chosen a few patterns that I thought would work well with these beautiful bold blooms that I have already pre-cut there. I'm starting out with this wide black stripe. I just love the contrast of it with the gold. And so I've trimmed that down into a quite wide piece. I'm not really sure, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches there. And then I'm going to use the text piece as well here, this piece of text pattern paper. I'm going to trim that down. And then, of course, I couldn't make a card without my favorite American Crafts gold glitter cardstock. So earlier when I cut that piece of paper out, I had cut it on one side, and I decided I wanted that V where those come to a point in the center of my piece of pattern paper. So I went back and retrimmed that out and just made sure it was even on both sides. And then I'm going to take that piece or that strip of pattern paper with the text on it and trim that into a banner end. And I'm going to use a little tape runner adhesive to attach the gold glitter cardstock alongside that. And then I'm going to put that on to that big, bold, black striped pattern paper using a little foam adhesive just to give it a little lift. Now, I went ahead and adhered this on, but then I was playing with that little piece there off to the side, that purple piece. That's cut from the Lifestyle Crafts Nesting Frames 9 die, and I decided I wanted that to sit behind so that you saw a little bit of purple on the left side of that as well. So I carefully pulled up that piece of text pattern paper and the glitter paper, and then I attached my purple nesting frame shape there with some tape runner adhesive and reattached that text piece. And then that whole grouping I attached to a piece of Nina Solar White cardstock. It's the 80 pound. I just attached that with a little tape runner adhesive as well, and then trimmed off the excess. Now that piece of Nina Solar White cardstock is cut to about 4 by 5 1/4. Now the cool thing about these little kind of dandelion blooms is that at the bottom there is a solid enough piece where you can hide a little bit of foam adhesive. So I've taken a little teeny bit of foam adhesive, put it at the base of those dandelion flowers there. I think they're dandelions. And then kind of arranged them on that frame piece there. And I have some leaves that I've cut out of some green cardstock, and to create a tone-on-tone effect, I'm just going to use my Versamark ink pad again and stamp the coordinating stamp on those, and that just gives it a tone-on-tone effect. And I already had the Versamark ink on my desk anyway, so I didn't have to go and get up and get another ink pad. So I got those leaves arranged on there and I decided that I wanted some stems. And so I'm just going to trim some out. And what I did was I took that same piece of green cardstock there and I just kind of trimmed at, a curve. And then I trimmed alongside of that as well. I left this in there because you can see how these are not perfect. They're very rough. It's something that you could definitely do. They don't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to care. And they look great in the end. And I just went ahead and attached those on using my Tombow stamp runner, um, tape runner there. And that's kind of nice because it has the dots where you can kind of rub it off if you get too much. So now I'm using this Fancy Thanks stamp set from the same release too. This is one of the new stamp sets. And I'm taking that Just a Note sentiment and stamping it on the bottom of that scrap piece of vellum. And then I'm trimming it out. And then I will attach that using just a teeny tiny bit of foam adhesive along that left edge. And then I'm going to do just a teeny bit of card surgery with my scissors there, kind of remove some of the foam adhesive that was behind that text piece, and then I'll slide that in there. Now, I rounded the bottom two corners and I was having a hard time deciding what color card base I should use. So I had a little WWJD moment there. What would Julie do? And I decided she wouldn't put this on a Nina Solar White card base. So I went ahead and added it to a piece of Basil taffy cardstock, a card base made of that card shop Basil taffy cardstock that she loves so much. And that completes my card for today. As always, you can see links to all the products used in this project over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Check out all the fabulous new products by Ellen Hudson today. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fabulous day.